Hey guys, just testing to make sure that this is working. Cool. Alright, so hi guys. This is going to be a little bit different than my normal videos because I'm making this specifically to help a bunch of people in a large-scale music video project that I'm working on with other creators on YouTube, other internet denizens, etc., etc. So this is mainly for them, but I figured I'd make it public since it might help some of you in my audience who maybe want to learn how to do what I do. Alright, so without further ado, I use Audacity to create all of my audio tracks, and it's really simple. I'm just going to type in Audacity into Google, boom, right there. It's a freeware. You don't need to worry about viruses, it's secure. Just go ahead and download it. I obviously already have it. And here it is. Now, in terms of microphones, I have two that I use. This is the one that I'm using at the moment to speak to you. It's the one that I usually use for audiobook recordings or in certain cases, sometimes for my singing recordings. This is the microphone that I normally use for singing recordings, and you're still hearing me through the Samson mic. But one thing that you might want to notice is the recording volumes on both of these are drastically different, and that's because they are two different microphones. And this is going to be a little bit less polished than normal because this is a low-effort video. I'm not going to be editing at all, so you get to hear all of my weird ramblings. So the singing microphone is not as sensitive as the Samson, my speaking microphone, is. So it needs to be far more sensitive, as you'll see here. Now, I'm going to show you how I test my mic before I start recording. And that's really just a matter of getting my voice warmed up. I always have water next to me, which I'm going to drink right now. I always have water next to me while I'm recording because it's always good to keep your voice, warmed up in that way. So I'm going to show you my typical routine for testing that my volume levels are correct, etc., etc. Recording volumes. So without further ado, I've got the Samson mic on. I'm going to do my sound test. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? She sells seashells by the seashore. Red leather, yellow leather, blue blood. Red leather, yellow leather, blue blood, bad blood. Woo! Hey! So that's what I do every single time. I've got it memorized by this point. And then I have to go back and I listen to it. Now, what I should do is I should normalize the audio first, but I'm lazy, so I'm not going to do that. I also didn't leave myself quite enough time to normalize the audio, and I'll show you how to do that later on. But for now, let's just listen to this. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? She sells seashells by the seashore. Red leather, yellow leather, blue blood. Red leather, yellow leather, blue blood, bad blood. Woo! Hey! Alright. So I've already got it set up, so that sounded pretty good, right? Well, what happens if I change that? Let's see how that affects it, shall we? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? She sells seashells by the seashore. Red leather, yellow leather, blue blood, bad blood. Woo! Hey! So right off the bat, you'll notice that doesn't look as good, does it? You'll notice that it spikes, which is something you always want to avoid. You'll also notice that there's a lot of noise in the silence, which is something you also want to avoid. So really finding that proper audio balance, and let's listen to this before we make our final decision here. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? She sells seashells by the seashore. Red leather, yellow leather, blue blood, bad blood. Woo! Hey! So yeah, you notice that these parts don't sound as good, do they? That's because the audio has spiked. That's what it means when the dark blue here goes above the upper limits of what the mic can capture. And that's something you don't have to worry about when you're performing live, but it's something you absolutely have to worry about when you're recording. So this time, just for interest's sake, because it'll be a good way to show you how normalizing works, I'm going to put this back up pretty high, and I'm going to be a little bit quieter as I record, and I'm going to show you, once I finish it, how I normalize. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? My life flows on in endless song. Alright, so now we've got our little recording, which I would never publish, except I guess I technically am. And I also left this large space of silence. Now I'm going to take this, go on to Effect, Noise Reduction, get a noise profile. So I selected this bit so that I could get that noise profile. You need to do that first. Let's take a quick listen before we change it. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. All right, now I'm going to select the entire thing, go to Effect, Noise Reduction, and hit OK. Notice how all of that white noise suddenly disappeared? Let's take a listen. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? My life flows on in endless song. So notice how that instantly sounds much cleaner and crisper. Now, for the music video people, when you're sending in your audio files, we don't want you to do noise reduction before you send it in. We're going to do that ourselves, the audio editors. But we do want you to leave this bit of white noise, and that's why, so that we can go through and clean up the background noise. So, I've shown you how my Samson Meteor mic works. Put it back to where it's supposed to be. There we go. Now my Samson Meteor mic is wonderful in terms of avoiding popping. I don't use a pop filter on my Samson Meteor mic. However, I do on my singing mic, and I'm going to show you why with two recordings. I'm going to record first without the pop filter and the second time with, and I'll see if you guys can spot the difference, okay? Pop filter off. Testing, 1, oops. Yeah, it's on. Oh, oops, there we go. This is why it's important to have the right microphone selected. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? She sells seashells by the seashore. red leather, yellow leather, blue blood, bad blood. So you'll notice immediately, look at all those lovely spikes. We don't want those. Take a listen.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick?
Yeah, notice you guys are still listening to this on the Samson Meteor mic. I'm only recording using my singing mic, which I don't actually know what brand it is. I got it as a present from my grandmother. It used to be my late grandfather's. So I don't know what brand it is, but it's a lovely mic and I use it for my singing, and that's that. That's off on a tangent. So you'll notice you can hear a lot of popping. That's what we call that. Take another listen.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick?
Yeah, that doesn't sound good, does it? Now let's take a listen with the pop filter and see if you guys notice a difference, all right? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? She sells seashells by the seashore. Red leather, yellow leather, blue blood, bad blood. There we go, got that one finally. All right, now let's take a listen to the Peter Piper section again.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick? She sells...
Much better, right? You don't have that ugly popping noise.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many peppers did Peter Piper pick?
Now, my pop filter does mute the noise a little bit from my singing mic, but it's preferable to that popping that you kept hearing. So there's that. What else do I need to show you guys? Alright, so we did the audio testing. Now let's do a little bit of singing, just to show you guys the normal process. Actually, I'm going to split this into 2 videos. So this was kind of the intro overview, and the next bit will be will be private. I'm sorry for my public audience. The next bit will be private, as I'm going to use bits from the music video project that haven't been released yet. So maybe once it's been released, I'll make that public, but for now that's going to remain private because it is currently a project that is under wraps, and you'll just have to wait until we're done. Alright, hope you enjoyed. For the public audience, for the music video creators, follow me to the next section, okay? See you soon!